interesting that like you actually get somewhere to stay that is free. Like I find that genuinely interesting. The floorboards creak under your step. You see the waves, the sea, a church. Old science fiction magazines, books about bird watching, an almanac from 39.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
Move the board aside.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
What's in there?
Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
Search through the
You
sand.
stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object.
Oh.
You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber. Like your own Villiers pistol, for example.
A bullet, interesting.
The floorboard doesn't care. But maybe the washerwoman does. You have enough to confront her with. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
The internet heat machine hums quietly.
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin.
Is shaving the right call?
The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. The stash is gigantic.
Let's do it.
Like an artist with a
Wow.
brush or a master swordsman.
Double sixes.
You use the
I
small
wasted
mirror
a
and
roll.
straight razor with some soap to remove all that unkempt hair from below the nose line. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it chilly.
Feel your clean-shaven cheeks.
They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if you just came from a cold bath.
Was shaving the right call?
The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face. Despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair, and persistent swelling, you look a little younger, maybe. You almost look like a professional. The beardless nature of your cheeks makes the expression seem even more like a terrifying grimace.
Nice, we shaved.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see your reflection in it.
Very
the
low.
expression fixed to your clean-shaven face. You're still not accustomed to it.
YOLO.
Still not happening.
Blew
It won't come off that easy.
it.
The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
So yeah, love that this is like we don't have to spend money on it, which is great. I got a bullet as well, which is cool. And now I've
Yes.
shaved. Sorry, cop. So, pointing at your face, I shaved.
Yes. I don't know what to say. Perhaps
What is it? You can tell me, Kim.
I'm not really sure about this turn of events. I think the mutton chops might have been a better idea. They sort of seem to cover up some of the... either way, good on you. You were saying?
Oh. I accept my choices.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Why is there a bullet under the floorboards of your shack?
Damn that girl.
She murmurs softly.
But you didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
You rented the room to her?
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long silence. Her hands move into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
When was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before.
Now this is a
But
10.
this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right there. Please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm
You
sure
s-
we have a few.
You said she left on Monday.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
She must have heard your chimera.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
Is this the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it, like I always do.
Was there anything else in there?
No,
The truth, sire.
What is she like, Ruby?
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
This Ruby is an old lady whisperer. She knows how to work the village elder, unlike you.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time, kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
She wanted to talk to her, as they usually do, but she was brooding.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
Tooting.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in
Aye.
mind.
Do tell.
It's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
The world.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter.
She really believes that.
Interesting. I heard she is a heavy drinker with anger issues. You ever witnessed that kind of behavior?
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset. She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do. I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Man, I was really hoping she'd be hiding in this village. Further up the coast we go.
Are you
then.
sure you would rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better idea to me.
The failed electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Oh ho ho, we're cooking. Alright, I kind of want to go speak to Everett first, though. I feel like I may have bottled it. I realised that was now not the only course of action, because of course it wasn't, because the game doesn't work like that. And I pursued it anyway. Is that? Oh, it looked really funky.
All the traps are...
Right, let's go tell him about the traps.
Hello, dear. It's good
Very
to see a
stuck the empty
familiar
trap.
face.
Where's Morel?
Thank you for doing that, dear.
He manages to smile for
Her
you.
smile is weary. Her earlier ebullience has left her.
Morel still isn't feeling well. I convinced him to stay at Gary's to get some rest. I'm afraid the cold has really gotten to him.
Only the hardcore players left, huh?
Yes. Field work is a young person's game, as they say.
Her voice is shaky. What is going on here?
So who's going to check the traps?
Morel will eventually, or we'll talk Gary into going back out, perhaps.
The lieutenant stares at his shoe, caked in mud. He doesn't say anything.
Once more to the breaches, then take it on with undue
That
optimism.
really is too much, sweetie. Thank you for your dedication, but I can see you're coming down with a cough yourself.
Very strange. Why is she not letting you do this? It's like she's given up.
Lena, what's wrong? You seem different.
Different? How?
You're not telling me the whole story.
I'm not. It's not that.
She does not end the sentence. What is it?
It's a strange feeling. I haven't really told this to anyone, but you are a police officer.
And when a police officer asks, you must answer.
Do you ever wonder if some lovely story from your childhood is just that? A story? Or a dream? Seeing the Insulindian phasmid was just a story I used to tell people. I didn't really think about whether it was real or not.
But Morel told me you'd seen it. You also told me.
Morel's so proud of it. He always tells everyone.
A terrible sting in the heart. Regret.
You seem to really believe it happened. Doesn't that count for something?
No, sweetie. There's more to it than that. Morel was so eager to believe my story was evidence of the phasmid's existence, that I'm some queen of the cryptozoologists. That. And for years, his belief made me believe too.
That I am a queen? An extraordinary witness to grace.
But now, we're both getting old, and he's still working himself sick out in those reeds looking for it. But what if I was just wrong? I think I was.
The lieutenant opens his notebook, but doesn't write anything.
Suggestion: first tell her that her marriage hasn't been a lie. Tell her this. I still believe you saw. Right. Suggestion is my key stat, so we're gonna roll.
An acorn is not the same as the tree. That requires time, diligence, and care.
And I need something good here. Wrong or not, your relationship with Morel isn't just about the phasmid.
But it is. We've spent years searching for the phasmid, hunting it together. Without it, what are we? Just another pathetic old couple. If I hadn't led him down this path, he could have a steady job lecturing at a university.
You know, this reminds you of the Pericarnassian theory of love. In essence, love is a relay out of death. Generation by generation, our love remains in our progeny. Lay some of that on her.
Sure, why not?
Oh, sweetie, I don't think the Pericarnassians were thinking of people in my situation.
She looks down at her legs.
I was a paraplegic before we met. He didn't know before I arrived, on our first date. If I weren't the queen of the cryptozoologists, if I didn't tell him that story...
Gail, we gotta remove this internalized ableism.
She has to swallow to relax her throat. It's keeping her from talking.
He'd still be into you. That's not how these things work.
Maybe. But then why do I not dare tell him? I've wasted enough of your time with this drama. I really must stop talking about it lest I start crying and waste more of your time. What you have to know is the Insular Indian phasmid probably does not exist. Let us fools chase our ghosts. There are a million better things to do with your life.
Are there? Some of the other things are pretty bad.
To hell with this. I still believe you saw the phasmid.
A true believer. Sometimes I still see it too. The real memory of it. How it was there. Not the memory of the memory, but it's so hard to tell the two apart.
Rising, unfolding from the reeds on a hot summer's day, like a benevolent god.
Either way, I should go. Poor Morel is running a fever, and I need to get him home to Jamrock before we overstay our welcome with Gary.
You sure you didn't need any help getting to Gary's?
Oh no, thank you, but I can get there on my own. This old thing is gas-powered. And then a taxi home. It's not so bad.
You do that. I'll check the traps one more time.
Really?
Oh, sweetie. Please don't get stuck on a dream. Take it from me and Morel.
Can I have your address just in case there's news?
Okay, it's 1113 Tabernacle Road,
Tabernacle?
Jamrock, but
A sigh. She doesn't think you'll need it.
It's been a pleasure, man.
likewise, sweetie. Thank you for everything. Truly. Even though it turned out to be a
waste of time. A dream. A lie. Like that, she drives off. The gas engine putters quietly as she gets to the doors, then pushes them open. Outside, it's snowing.
We should go to...
Somewhere out there, a kilometer to the southeast, a gust of wind shakes the felled building, rattling dusty windows, beckoning with strange coldness, to ask the wind once more.
It'd be really funny if you could inland empire it and like actually do it though. Right, my stats are kind of a bit wonky because I'm down. Wait, where's that? Oh. That's visual calculus, right? So my stats are a bit wonky. I'm really worried I'm not going to get into this ice cream maker. I've only got 2 physical, and I'm currently on -2 and -1 logic for some reason. It's giving me the -1 logic. Oh, -1 logic for self-delusion, right? Regular law officer. Actual art degree. Can't even look at this graph. Research time 1 hour. Bringer of the law. Weird jaw research time. Miracle. Look at all these thoughts. Oh, there are some that I can't get. Are they the ones I've deleted? Right, let's go see if Everett is gonna kill me. Just in case things get sketchy.
Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm.
I think my hand recognizes it.
It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. Sheathe your sidearm, officer. A serious law official, cop by the book, should know to only unholster their service weapon when using it is unavoidable.
I just want to keep hold of it while I chat to Everett.
The ship has sailed. Did you see it? I know you did. Tell me, what did it look like as it grew smaller and smaller when that mainsail dropped behind the horizon? Did it look like a germ? Did it look like a piece of bacteria?
His jaw is clenched and his quadruple chin is quivering with hatred. This is decades of hatred speaking right now. You get a sinking feeling.
Yes, it sort of did look like that. A bacteria growing smaller and
You
smaller.
wanted us to relay all this information to her.
That this is a takeover? That I want a war? God, I hope you also told her about the drug trade. They absolutely hate getting their hands dirty with that. You can kill 1 million people, but if you do something the police doesn't like, well, then you're out of the yacht club. Goodbye, you inhuman fuck.
Now you know. Now I know why you've been so forthcoming. That's wild how you got me to do all that stuff. Thanks for letting me play a part.
Harry, you made a conscious decision to relay that information to her. You could have kept it for yourself.
But she told me a beautiful story about the discovery of the Insulid. You used my intellectual curiosity against me.
Against you? Oh, Harry, I'd like to think I used it for you.
But she told me a beautiful story.
Of course she did. Rich people have the best stories about all the interesting things they've done and seen, all the beautiful places they've been to. It's just sentimentalism. She can afford to be sentimental, and she can afford to lose as well.
So what's gonna happen now?
What was always going to happen? We take the harbour, and she fucks off to Ozon, uncorks a bottle of wine, calls her partners, and says they need to distance themselves from this nasty business before the big shit spinner splashes everyone. Only difference is the Union doesn't have to lose 2,000 men to machine gun fire.
But I swore fealty to her. She was my beautiful lady. I have a bad taste in my mouth. You better make sure this ends up saving lives. I just want to do police work. Damn, Everett, I was hoping I'd somehow get to fuck you over in the end, not the other way around. I'm gonna go there, ends up saving lives.
That it will, Harry. That it will. As to the bad taste, please, you're not a sommelier. You're a cop. You knew something. Something big. And you wanted to see what happens when you tell someone. So you told her. Anyone who's ever been close to power will tell you. Inside information is the sweetest thing in the world. It's better than money. It's better than pussy. Money only makes you special for some salesmen. Pussy only makes you special for yourself. Information makes you special for all mankind. It's the ticket to history. Right on, Harry. What you did was participate in history. When history calls, you have to pick up. You had no choice. None of us ever do. A hard disco cop like you, I knew you weren't one to resist temptation.
You know what, detective? I am going to leave this out of my report, and I suggest you leave it out of yours too.
Just look at the three of us. The three careless boyaderos. Good times, good times.
So what now?
Now there's a whole lot of work to do. For me and for you. I suppose there was a reason you came here, so let's get to it. What can I help my best friend and comrade with today?
I don't know, to be honest, I'm kind of like, I don't know, kind of confused. Like, obviously, like, I got that he wanted me to tell her, right? Like, that's not, like, stupid, but, like, avoiding a war when there didn't need to be one is obviously the right way to go, right? Like, there's no benefit to that. At least being perceived to be on... Oh, let's remove my gun. Like, everyone is kind of bad. The conglomerate are bad. Everett's bad. They're just trying to do police work.
Yes?
Alright, let's go back up to the electric thing then, I guess. Actually, do you know what? I'll go do that. I can only increase my physical capacity by 2. And it's got a few hours left, I think, on the thought. Three hours out. Honestly, I might just pass the time.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective, Dick Mullen.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Crime fiction is a disgrace. And asinine miss these books greatly. What's more, they completely ignore the not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. You see, Dick Mullen on the job.
This is new.
Get Me Mullen. The stalwart adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the murder in the orchard. The sordid affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final case of Dick Mullen. An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the clock tower. The ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's funeral pyre. The murder of Dick Mullen.
Dick Mullen dies?
Oh no. Turns out he faked it to solve a case.
Are there any more?
Yes. There's also the dame who did it. Farewell, my Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The morbid tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity.
What do we have here? Mistaken Identity?
A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence.
Why does this speak to me?
Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals?
That's probably right. I'm a complicated guy full of contradictions.
Then this is the book for you.
I'll maybe leave it. Is there like a...
Yes?
No, sorry, Kim.
Shelves full of biographies of famous people.
No, we don't want that.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Kind of want to see if there's something that, like, I don't know, will, like, improve my physical stat for some reason.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of...
I guess I'll buy the Dick Mullen book just to pass some time. Finish this thought off. Oh wait, this is the Dick Mullen, right? Yeah,
Shelves.
screw it, why not?
Of course.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch.
Start reading.
The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vesper to a small town along the Elysium coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home where he passes out drunk, as he does most nights. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law, but also extremely accurate in your case.
Hey, I'm trying at least.
Give it time. You'll fall off the wagon sooner or later.
Keep reading.
2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vesper police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vesper police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
The cops release their prime murder suspect so we can find the real killer? Are you joking?
What's the matter, detective?
The lieutenant turns to you with a start. I know what's wrong with this rubbish, but I get the feeling they aren't experts on homicide investigations.
The lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented in art and literature. They're not shitting you, detective. This is what the writers think passes for police procedure.
Okay, so Mullen didn't do it.
Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana Denerva.
Nice, a dame.
And not just any dame. She's truly one in a million, a knockout whose mind is as dangerous as her curves. But she's got a secret.
Sounds like my kind of woman.
She's any man's kind of woman, according to this book. Are you sure about that? Something about her gives you a bad feeling. What kind of secret is she hiding? You couldn't handle a woman like that. Look at yourself. You couldn't even handle your... Stop. Don't say it.
Don't say what?
Nothing. Forget it. Go back to your story. Denerve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead. Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role in the drug ring. He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder? One evening, Diana Denerve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. Yes, comfort and pleasure. The warmth of another human's touch. The burning taste of liquor on her full, sweet lips. Well, that testimony won't be a admissible any longer.
How does Mullen accept to solve the murder if he's sleeping with a witness? Nice, get it, Mullen. I'm not sure I'm happy with this, but maybe the story will turn it
The
around.
man's a prosecutor's nightmare. Solving a murder counts for nothing if all the evidence gets thrown out in court over police misconduct. That's just Dick Mullen's modus operandi. He might bend the rules, but he closes cases like no one else can. As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Deanna Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you. I love you." The name of the true killer. Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly.
Can't trust a dame. Shake your head.
Who can you trust in this wicked, messed up world?
Your partner. Look at Kim.
The lieutenant gives you a quizzical expression in return. You go back to the story. When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood.
Double flip.
Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body, if they haven't been tipped off already. Fleeing a crime scene, destroying evidence. Even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years behind bars. Dick Mullen won't be sent to the clink for the sake of some legal niceties. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in?
Wait, I've got some questions.
What is it, Detective?
Why does everyone close to Dick Mullen wind up dead? Why did Dick Mullen become a detective in the first place? Why bother solving crimes when the world is so evil? I don't have any questions I figured
So,
out.
who did it, Detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve?
The police captain.
Could be. Who knows? Only one way to find out.
Finish the book.
You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast, you don't even notice the ancient spine coming unglued. You try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough. They're gone. Dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take
Yeah,
way too
now I'll
long.
never know.
Too bad, detective. If it's any consolation, the resolution is almost never very satisfying. And on that note, perhaps we should get back to making sense of our own case?
Last year, more than 71% of murders in Revachol went unsolved. In Revachol West, that number was closer to 85%. In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity.
Well, that was fun. How long's left on the thought? 2 hours still. Right, I guess I'm gonna buy another book. You know how this book
Hi,
ends.
Detective.
Look,
Are you here for
hell,
the book?
my dick will rip before I can end it. Do you know what happened?
Which book was it, sir?
The mistaken
Oh.
identity.
I'm very sorry, sir. I haven't read that one yet. I wish I could help you.
Dang it.
Shelves full of biography.
I would say. The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history.
Shelves full of biographies of.
A
Why
true
not?
cultural touch.
No, I don't need the money to stay in the will and the rags. We may as well do this to pass the time.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy.
Crack open this immense toe.
Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain.
I also totally know I don't need to do this. I'm just doing it purely to pass the time so I can have another go at that ice cream maker.
Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well. It's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready?
Sure, why not?
That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Oh yeah, this is what I was made for.
That's all right. Go on. Give me all the hints you've
A
got.
pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila. Now blast that first innocence. Thanks for nothing. Dolores Day. Dolores. Incorrect.
Oh.
Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern. She was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one.
Well,
A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence?
Solar?
Incorrect. Solar was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Solar resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again? Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general, at least the parts that matter.
Yes, so interesting, but I thought you'd give me an answer to the question.
I can do better. Okay, so commonly an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help?
Yes, immensely.
Great. Dolores.
I'll try again. I trust you've got my back.
An innocence is the highest category.
Oh.
I can do better. Damn, Dolores. Incorrect again. While she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the innocentic system itself, and somehow keeps popping up in your mind, she is not often considered the strongest. Even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self-control, which could be seen as facets of strength. Would you like to try again? Please, relax. Incorrect. Vespa Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vespa and Messina. Care to try again? Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information.
You're going to be helpful this time. I could use a hint.
Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Pericarnacian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members. There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault. At least it clearly wasn't Dolores Day. She wouldn't be false. She's beautiful. Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Erno Pasternak. Would you try again? Correct.
Hey.
There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen.
How long is left of this thought? An hour and 3 minutes.
The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest. But final stretch, you've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind. I've got it, honest. Of course, this is my thing, the reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro. 0 doubts, while it was actually her. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence. A most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful, and more beautiful, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. A D, not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that anyone really expected better. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
Gotta take off. Put off going grocery for too long. Nice to make a full stream again. Thanks for giving me help on Rebirth. If not giving me ice cream today. I will try for the ice cream. Feel free to check the VOD. If it happens, it'll happen. Damn you arrogant
What's
book.
going on with you?
Think it's so smart, goddamn.
Okay.
Little Zenit stares at you, his visage unflinching.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers.
Man, something's weird about this book. You should do something fun instead. Rock out. Forget about it.
Alright, I need like another hour's worth of conversation. Let's buy another book.
Shelves full of This bookstore is not strict.
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
Alright, well the thought's nearly done. 56. So... guess I just need to go talk to people. There's some dialogue options with the people in the whale and in rag, so I guess we'll do that.
It is such a pleasure to see you again, officer. How may I head the citizens' militia on this fine day?
A man so principled about his sandwich calls for a principled approach. Time to get political.
I'm already tripping knee deep in politics.
You really do. Now, unleash the fury.
The city's going to rubbish. Sooner or later, some anarchist is going to steal your sandwich. That's a fact. Your blood sandwich, point to it, is the tool of the oppressors designed to keep the proletariat docile. These options seem awfully fascist or communist. What if I don't want to say them?
Say one of these fascist or communist things, or fuck off. Whoa, easy there, Goldmouth. He doesn't have to say anything. Re-engage cop mode and bail out.
All right. Let's hear them, officer. Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest woman in all of Revachol. Maybe the entire world.
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. Let her rest in peace.
His tone lacks its usual intensity, like he doesn't feel he has the right to speak on the matter.
What happened?
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. It was a quiet passage, peaceful.
He smiles faintly.
René and I were both by her bedside when she...
Died. No use sugarcoating it. Won't bring her back, will it now?
departed. Until the very end she couldn't decide between us. The most indecisive woman I've ever met.
A quick grimace of pain passes over René's features, but he immediately regains control. His face now a dispassionate mask again.
Why do you think she was indecisive?
She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favorite color, or which one of us to marry. She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married.
Women, right? Nothing wrong with weighing up your options first.
Heck, technically, we're both still engaged to her.
You always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastries.
He suddenly remembers you are still there, falls silent, and turns away.
Thanks for sharing.
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left. Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. But that's all I know, really.
Go on, you
No,
want to do something.
officers, I'm sorry. And I really would like to assist. You are both good guys. I can see that.
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the ghost caviar in the Union. Someone must know something.
He means caviar socialists.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that.
Odd. He doesn't seem to be lying, but there's something off here.
Seems like you're holding back.
I'm not even anyone.
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone important in the Union. I just know Evrard. Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers. I taught these boys human studies and history in the gymnasium.
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history. Only heard about it years later, when it had already moved on. You don't know history.
The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns to face the sea. There he stands, proud, rigid and alone, like a cracking marble statue.
Let's try not to get caught in a crossfire.
Lest we leave riddled with bullet holes. This animosity is ancient.
No, thank you.
Alright, well, we're nearly there. Nearly done. 43 minutes of in-game time.
Yes? What is it?
Let's be honest, that was some first-rate karaoke.
Okay. Yes. That was pretty good.
What? No. No. There are universal standards of good out there, and that was just complete shit.
Jean, he's not right. Treat him like you treat McCoy's little brother.
Lieutenant W. Freighter, John Archetype McCoy's younger brother, Lance McCoy, although a man of 32 years, will mentally never surpass a 6-year-old. No idea. Just passing on information stored in your fractured neural cortex.
And I'm not going to pretend like he's got a learning disability.
Yeah, I'm still right here.
And I'm wondering why. Don't you have a case to solve?
Yes? Did you want something from me?
Something is really bugging me. Are we not from the same police
God
station?
damn it, you leave her alone. Keep your weird bullshit to yourself and be professional for once, for fuck's sake.
Can I actually help you with something?
Yes, of course. Preposterous. I mean, you would remember if they were, right? Who forgets their squad mates? That's not possible.
Of course I'm with him. Why do you ask?
You look cute together.
And you look like you don't bathe, on principle.
Please, let's not turn this into another exchange, okay?
You have a blue uniform, mine is black. What does that mean?
It means I'm a patrol officer, sir.
Alright. That did not pass as much time as I would like it to.
Again? I can't...
Okay. I need new dialogue options, people.
Wow. Just wow. I hope you really enjoyed yourself up there. Had a cathartic experience. Because for the rest of us, that really sucked.
It's safe to say this is about your karaoke performance.
You don't understand my performances. I know it's. I purposely shredded them to convey a strained, worn-out sadness.
I get it. You were purposefully shit. So original. I'm not letting anyone up there again. Ever. Now what did you want?
I'm gonna actually have to progress the thing, aren't I?
Hi again, Gendarme. Bye-bye, Gendarme.
Give me some new dialogue, anyone.